Morning, morning. My favorite kind of Monday, the Monday where I don't have to go to work, although I'm down the road from work and the center is in full swing. For those of you that follow me, could I ask you to subscribe to the channel? Could I also ask you, please, if possible, to share or repost these videos? And if you're watching me on YouTube, like, subscribe, share, and comment. Comments are what make the algorithms tick, I believe. And it helps us out. It helps us get the message out there. So give me 1 second. I'll be back in a second. Sorry, we just had some noise coming from outside there because our phones are ringing off the hook, as they normally do over winter. But we've just had a serious case again with a guy that's young guy, and that's what I want to speak to you about today is the youth. You know, our youth are in crisis, man. Our youth are absolutely in crisis, and you know, where we sit with the drug issue, we see it daily. Our youth are being bombarded by things that are detrimental and in fact exceptionally harmful to them. And you know, from drugs to, you know, when we were young we also had dangers, but at a bare minimum, it was pretty safe to be in the streets, and you know, drugs were few and far between. You had to be involved with the right/wrong people in order to get your hands on them. And now it's just part of the culture, you know. When I look at the amount of information that, negative information that is out there that the youth are clinging onto versus what is, you know, what we should be teaching them, and what they are exposed to on a daily basis, it's actually frightening. So we've got a guy now again, young man, progressing from bad to worse. Unfortunately, the reality in his situation is there's just simply too much money. Money is his problem, you know, family money. And it's slowly but surely leading to his demise. And when you look at him as well as others, you start asking, you know, why are young people more and more gravitating to these self-destructive patterns? You know, we've got kids all over this country unaliving themselves, you know, due to stresses and issues that we never really had, you know. One thing I'm eternally grateful for in my life is that when I was a child and when I was a teenager, I was allowed the opportunity to be exactly that, to be a child, to be a teenager. You know, we only got introduced to television in 1976, which is ironically the same year that we celebrate tomorrow in Youth Day, 16th of June, 1976. The outbreak of the Soweto riots, you know. So speaking about that, you know, we went through this whole period of fighting for freedom, right? And people subsequently attained the goal of being free. But are you really free? Are the youth really free? Are the youth, as you know, we're celebrating 16th of June tomorrow. What is there for the youth to actually be celebrating? You know, we're sitting with 60% youth unemployment, all right, and declining, you know, getting worse in terms of that. And, you know, I often think what it would be like to be young in today's time. You know, what kind of hope is there? When I drive/ride/walk around this country and I see the amount of youth just walking around in the streets aimlessly. You know, with us, when I was a kid, if you did not have actually somewhere to go, you had to be at home. So you know, you're allowed to go mess around on your bicycle or do whatever you needed to do with your mates. But at a certain time, you know, I wasn't allowed to leave, like in a school holiday, I wasn't allowed to leave home before 9 o'clock in the morning. I had to make sure that whatever minimal chores, which weren't many, you know, I was actually very spoiled, but whatever minimal chores I had to have done had to be done before I left home. I had to come home for lunch. I had to be home between 1 and 2 o'clock for lunch. And then after 2, I could go out with my friends and play with my friends, or go ride bicycles with my friends or whatever when I was a teenager, go visit girls or whatever it is. But 5:30 was curfew, and I had to be home 5:30, you know. And now, you know, kids 16, 15, 17 are out in the streets all night. Some kids are out 2, 3, 4 days without their family knowing. We've got an epidemic of drug abuse in this country. And I want to tell you, you know, the education system is not really helping our kids. You know, I watched videos yesterday afternoon. I watched YouTube yesterday afternoon about other countries. You know, go have a look. Go watch Spaniard, you know, and he goes around the world and he sees the positive and the negatives that others have to see around the world. And, you know, there's places that are as bad as ours, if not some of them worse. But then there's other places, you know. Yesterday was in Shenzhen, China, where the entire city is automated, you know, drones delivering fast foods and autonomous vehicles, taxis, driving people around. The city is absolutely spotless. Their technology and electronics departments, they've got a section in that city, 8 blocks of high-rise buildings. Listen to this, just one section of that city. 8 city blocks of high-rise buildings within those 8 city blocks, okay? And just technology. Brand new, second-hand, refurbished technology that you can go and purchase. They've got robots making cappuccino. Not cappuccino machines, actual robots making cappuccinos. And I look at that, and then I look at our country, and I think to myself, okay, is 30% pass rate, a 30% pass rate within an education system that is completely ineffective? How is our youth going to compete, which is now no longer a national economy? It's no longer a continental economy. We're dealing with a international economy and an international playing field that our youth are going to have to be able to compete with. And yes, we rave and shout and scream about the small positives that we see amongst this very small demographic of our youth who exceed and excel, and it's very good to see that. But unfortunately, a 1% or less than 1% you know, ratio of youth that are excelling is not going to be able to compete in a global system anymore, which is rocketing ahead of us on every scale, every metric. The international world is especially economically, technologically, financially, is rocketing light years ahead of us. We must be 500 years behind the rest of the world, you know. And it's growing exponentially with the advent of AI and all these technologies that are coming on. And we're sitting here and we're still fighting, and we're teaching our youth to fight about issues that are, quite frankly, no longer valid. No one cares on the internet and around the world whether you're black or white. No one cares. The world cares about what can you offer. What can you offer? And we are not bringing our youth to the playing field at an acceptable integrating rate into the worldwide system. Now, many of us, myself included, we don't agree with X or Y or Z. Let's go the digital IDs and all this type of stuff. Many of us that are religious and follow the Bible will tell you that one world government, the rise of the Antichrist, one world currency, all of the stuff, the market to be taking the chip, is all part of what we're seeing with this digital growth around the world. And we push this message. But the reality is, it doesn't matter what we believe or what we don't believe in terms of what it is or what it isn't. The reality of it is it's happening, regardless of what we say. And in order for our, I've always said this to people, I believe 100% in what I believe in. 1,000% what I believe in. I believe the spiritual word of God, right? That's what I believe. And my worldview is based on that system of belief, right? Okay? But hang on for it. Are you ready for it? Right? Now, the next thing I'm going to say, I don't believe to be true. But once again, listen to the word I'm using, believe, right? But unfortunately, for me, and for many like me, there's a lot of things that I believed in life to be true that turned out to be complete and utterly false and wrong. So I've got to take into account that there is a possibility, however remote, that what I'm saying may be false in terms of my belief system, right? And am I going to negatively impact people potentially by not allowing them to enter into something which could potentially lead to their success in the future? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I could force people to live under my belief system, which could ultimately then turn out to be highly detrimental to their future, which is exactly the same thing that what this government is doing, is they're forcing people to live under a system that they believe is the best system for, and in my view, themselves. So what I'm saying is that because they allowing people to live under the system or pushing the system, look at Iran at the moment. Those people believe a certain thing, and it's led to, look what it's led to. It's led to the entire population standing up against them and along with the world. And death and destruction and all this stuff. So what I believe is that, or what I think, not believe, what I think should be happening is that we should be developing systems here that no longer benefit us old guys, bro. We're old. We're coming to the end of our existence, right? I'm 3/4 of the way through my life. But while I'm going through, I'm at the end, and at the end of my life, I've got 3/4 pretty much done. I could drop that down, but in terms of lifespan and that, I'm finished 3/4 of my life. But as I'm finishing up with my life, there's other people that are only starting their lives. So why am I making decisions that are going to only benefit me for the last quarter of my life without any consideration for the people who are just starting out? And this is a big problem. And I said it to young people over the course of this weekend. I spoke to a number of young people this weekend, and I said to them, you know what, guys? I'll tell you what needs to happen is the dinosaurs in government, the dinosaurs in education, the dinosaurs that are running people's lives. And with that, I include someone, yeah, look here, Shame. I've got to show you guys. Check it out. I'm busy now. Check it out. Can you guys see that? Check it. It's one of my employees' little daughter. Trying to come in here. Now, this is the thing that's, now look at that child, right? What must I tell her? What does her future look like in this country? Because Old people are making decisions based on outdated ideologies that are negatively impacting these children. You know? And I really believe that we should be bringing in more youth into our governments and into our thinking, because ultimately they're the ones that are going to have to live with our poor decisions. You know, we look at, I watched three guys from the Red Berets yesterday. The one must have been 21, 19, maybe one 22, 23 years old, shouting and screaming about apartheid and apartheid this and apartheid that. Never experienced apartheid. All three of them don't know what apartheid is. But they've been conditioned by ideologues to believe that the reason that they're not progressing in life is because of apartheid. But the truth of the matter is that the reason that they're not progressing in life is because of the mindset that is being instilled in them by people who still blame apartheid for their failure, instead of encouraging that youth and providing opportunity for that youth to be successful and at a bare minimum be able to sustain themselves. They pile on this brainwashing about you are the past, the this, that, not allowing these people to expand their mindsets to understand that you cannot live in the past. If you want to progress in life, you have to move into a future mindset. And it's holding back our entire country. It's holding back the youth. Because we, as the older folk, are still drumming into them racism, hatred. All of us. All of us. And it's holding them back. You know, the kids of today in South Africa, generally speaking, don't see color. They don't see race. It's only those that have been indoctrinated on all sides that see color. You know, I watched this Fadil Adams again, carrying on about whites and this and that. You know, but you are perpetuating a system of racism and failure, my bud. Instead of getting and letting them build a new future, we're holding them in the past. We're holding them captive in the past. A past that they know. Signal, yeah. Anyway, there we are, I'm back. A past they know nothing about. They know nothing about, except what we told them. And then where we failed, and they're living in poverty, and they're living in squalor, and they're living in these terrible conditions, we then, in order to remove the blame from ourselves and our lack of success and growth, because we blamed our lack of success and growth on the things that negatively impacted us, like me. I spent half my life blaming my family, blaming the South African police for what happened to me in the South African police, blaming, anything. I would blame anything and blame anyone. Whenever I looked at my life and the shit show my life was, it was everyone else's fault. And people fueled that, boy. They fueled it. Until I realized, you know what, my success, my future, my hope lies in two places for me now, right? The first place for me personally was God's will in my life. That's where I'm at there, right? But the second thing is that God had endowed me. If you don't want to believe in God, nature, if you want, has endowed you with 2 hands, 2 feet. If you've got 2 hands and 2 feet and you've got a functioning brain, you've got no excuse. End of story. Because millions of people have clawed out of the gutter and climbed to higher heights with 1% of the opportunities that I've had in my life. They've overtaken me and excelled at a level that I could only dream of, and they started at a deficit. I had opportunity, I had the ability, but I was lazy and I like to blame. And we're perpetuating this on our youth. Now I want to say to the youth today, I want to say to you guys, you know, I say it to my guys. I've got guys in their late 20s and early 30s and even younger, right? I want to say to you guys, if you're at that age level, maybe even younger, right? What is happening to the dreams you had personally? What has happened to your dreams? Why are you not chasing your dreams? You know, because if you don't chase your dreams, you'll never catch them. You'll never attain them. Stop believing what everyone says about you. Stop believing that everyone says that it's impossible for you to succeed because of X and this and that and all the stresses and all of that. You know, if you spent less time listening to politicians and running in the streets and throwing stones and burning tires and doing the things that you do in order to keep the politicians in power, and you use that energy to empower yourself and close out the noise around you, you have a far better chance of making it. And don't think that it's easy, but the way that it's happening in this country and the way that you are being manipulated in this country is only going to lead you to one place, and that's back to the gutter, which is where they want to keep you. Because people in the gutter are dependent upon other people. And while you are dependent upon other people, you can never be free. In order for you to be truly free, you have to free yourself from the chains of dependence upon others. And the only way that you can do that is to educate yourself. Learn unceasingly. I want to tell the young people of South Africa, unfortunately, the reality of the world is thus. If you cannot speak English effectively and efficiently, you are not going to progress in the outside world. You are not going to be able to do business in Europe or the South Americas or Asia or anywhere other, even the rest of Africa. You won't even be able to do business in the rest of Africa if you can only speak Zulu or Xhosa or Sotho or Tswana. You have to learn how to effectively communicate the languages of the world, which are English, French and Spanish, and now certain Chinese dialects, I believe Cantonese and Mandarin and so on. If you cannot effectively communicate in those languages, you're not going to make it in a global economy. Because the world is shrinking. The world is shrinking. And in order for you to make it in the world, you are going to have to be able to do business around the world. You can't rely on Google Translator. You have to educate yourself. You have to depoliticize yourself. Depoliticize yourself. Educate yourself. I was watching Vusi Thembakwaya this morning, and how can I put it? Remarkable thing about that guy is that he, with everything that's going on publicly, is remaining depoliticized. He is concentrating. He's got his eyes on his game and on his ball. And that is why he's successful. But if you continue running around screaming and shouting in the name of some party or some politician, you're losing track and you're losing focus of what is important in your life, which is your dreams, your success, your financial security, your family, your future. And that's my message to the youth, you know. And my message to us is that we really need to start doing better, South Africa. We are failing our youth dismally. Dismally. Drug addiction, crime, homelessness, unemployment is killing our youth. They have no hope. And youth with no hope become radicalized. And radicalized youth bring anarchy. And that's why we're in the situation we're in. We must change our system. We have to change this government. We have to concentrate on the youth of this country, because it's the youth of this country that are going to take this nation either to the next level or bring this nation to its knees, because we're not focusing on our youth. And when I say our youth, not just your own kids, everyone else's kids. Everyone else's kids are as important as your kids. Remember, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a community to raise a child. It takes a mindset to raise a child. It takes an environment to raise a child. It takes a good education to raise a child. It takes morals and integrity and character building to raise a child. We have to reinstill the idea of competition. We have to reinstill the ideas of merit. Merit and character over politics and the past. Amen. Have a great day, guys. I hope that message helps someone. But for me, for the youth to go out tomorrow and celebrate Youth Day, what do they have to celebrate? What future do they have to celebrate in South Africa? Right now, a failing economy, very little to do. It's a problem. Lekker. Cheers.